Everything is normal, except you can't move. Not a single muscle. You try to call for help, but your voice won't come out.
Dude, I remember the first time that I had sleep paralysis, I genuinely thought I was gonna pass away. What's good, YouTube? Today we're gonna be looking at every real life glitch or superpower that us humans have. Without further ado, let's get started.
Deja vu, the accidental save reload. You walk into a cafe, the clatter of a tray, the low hum of conversation, the barista calling out an order.
It's so weird because every time I experience deja vu, like I swear up and down that I know exactly how this is gonna play out. It feels so weird because I'd be thinking, is this how I experienced things in a past life? Why do we feel like us as humans have experienced that exact situation? And I swear the things that led up to it feel like it was planned out.
You already know before she says it. A black cat dashes past your legs, and then it hits you. You have seen this before. Exactly this.
In my deja vu experiences, I swear I always be feeling like the worst is gonna happen, like on some Final Destination type activity. But it always turns out to be much more tame.
You don't just recognize the moment, you remember what happens next. The man at the window will check his watch, the woman at the counter will drop her keys. In 10 seconds, the door will swing open, but you already know who's coming through. Science says deja vu is a glitch, a brain misfire. A small processing error where your mind accidentally flags the present as a past memory.
Or someone else in an alternate dimension, the fourth version of me, have experienced that, so what's up?
And if deja vu is just a brain error, why does it feel so eerily accurate?
Exactly.
Some believe deja vu isn't a glitch at all. It's proof that time isn't linear, that you've lived this moment before, that maybe you are in a loop. Or worse, you've died in another timeline.
That's kind of scary to even think. To be feeling like we've been repeating the same life over and over again, what's the point? Until someone cracks the code and says, hey, this time around, I know what to do. I understand it. Like, I don't know. Assuming we keep reliving the same, like, lives and stuff. Imagine the people that got it bad in, like, the 1800s. Imagine being told you're gonna have to respawn in the 1900s again, in those conditions. No, I'm only gonna respawn my life if I come back amazing every time.
If that's true, how many times have you already been here? Mandela Effect. Reality patches while you're AFK. Let's do a test. Does Pikachu have a black tip on his tail? Think carefully. You've seen Pikachu 1,000 times.
Yes, but I wouldn't say yes because it just looks like it should fit there. With the Mandela Effect, you gotta believe contrary to what you think. So no.
In cards and games and movies, you know what he looks like.
Nope.
So yes or no?
No.
If you said yes, congratulations. You've just experienced the Mandela Effect. Pikachu has never had a black tip on his tail.
A black tail just looks much more realistic, because if you look at his ears, it just makes sense for him to have a black tail.
Not in the games, not in the anime, not anywhere.
Ever.
And yet, millions of people swear he did. Alright, let's try another one.
I hate this one because I swear I always remember this man with the monocle, but apparently he just never had it. Honestly, I feel like Monopoly should just go ahead and put this monocle in this man's face. This just looks much more accurate because it gives off like this rich feel that he's clearly trying to portray.
Does the Monopoly man wear a monocle?
No.
Of course he does. You've seen him. The rich old man with a top hat, a suit, and that little monocle over his eye. Except he doesn't.
He didn't.
He never has. The Mandela
well, he needs to start wearing it. It looks cooler.
Effect is the strange phenomenon where large groups of people all remember something one way, only to find out that it never existed like that. At least not anymore.
The one that really got to me is the Fruit of the Loom. I don't know if any of you guys know the underwear. I always remember this with this, I think, cornucopia. I think that's what it's called. I never knew that it was only just fruits. This just makes much more sense. I feel like companies should actually change their logos if the Mandela Effect looks cooler.
The name comes from Nelson Mandela. Huge numbers of people remember him dying in prison in the 1980s. They recall watching the funeral on TV, seeing the headlines, even discussing it in school.
What?
Except that never happened.
The fact that people can recall it being televised is way different than me looking at a Monopoly game. Y'all seen this man pass away. Whichever TV station hosted that, somebody got to get arrested.
He was released, went on to become president of South Africa, and died in 2013. So how do millions of people share the same false memory? The official explanation is that human memory is bad. It's faulty, unreliable. A few people misremember something, then they tell others, and before long, the false memory spreads like a virus. If so many people remember things one way, but history says otherwise, what if history changed? What if these are updates to reality, small server-side patches that overwrite the past, but leave behind a few glitches? What if you just didn't get the update? Some believe this is proof that we're shifting between alternate timelines, that every so often we move into a slightly different version of reality, but our memories don't fully sync. Others think this is just bad maintenance. Reality gets patched, but the developers missed a few details.
Or why can't we just be dumb? I love how you're giving us like excuses to not remember things. Hey, we just have tweaked out memory cells, you know? Maybe we're right, but you know, it's just our hardware. No, we're just stupid. We're just dumb as human beings, okay? Maybe sometimes we just forgot it, all right? Maybe our IQ was not as high as we thought.
Notice something changing that shouldn't be able to change. It's already too late.
That's scary to even think though. The fact that we're reliving the same life and then there's a couple lives where we might have, I don't know, met our crush, might have talked to that one girl that was staring at us for too long at that one night, or done some terrible things to ourselves. I think that's just creepy.
Missing time. The desync error. It's 3:02 p.m. You blink. Now it's 3:47 p.m. You didn't move. You didn't check your phone. You weren't distracted. But somehow 45 minutes have disappeared. The official term is highway hypnosis. When your brain zones out and drives on autopilot. It happens on long, repetitive roads. The idea is that your brain is awake, but your memory stops recording. Sounds reasonable. Except some people experience missing time when they're not driving. They'll be sitting at home watching TV, and suddenly it's night.
Okay, I don't think that's necessarily a glitch. I think you're just super terrible with time. I will say though, time moves in funny ass ways, because when I'm in class and everything is boring, time wants to make sure that it's going by very slow. But when I'm chilling, procrastinating and whatnot, it just wants to go 2 times the speed. And I feel like the activity I'm doing is much more slow.
Person cleaning their kitchen looks up at the clock and finds an hour missing. Some say it happens.
Could be daylight savings.
In their mid-conversation. They'll be talking to a friend, and suddenly the other person is looking at them weird, like they just stopped talking for 5 minutes. Some people say that during missing time, they get the feeling that something else was happening, but they just aren't supposed to remember. It's like someone edited the footage, trimmed down the timeline, removed the parts that didn't make the cut. Things we were never meant to see. Bystander effect.
What?
When
so an
NPCs
NPC?
refuse to trigger the next event. You're walking down a busy street. A person collapses. They hit the ground completely unconscious. A crowd starts forming and nobody moves. You wait for someone to help. Maybe a doctor, maybe a good...
No, if I seen this, I would have been super creeped out. If someone falls, like at least make sure that they're good, or like make like a facial reaction, or at least try to approach them or do something. If I fall and everyone is just standing there like, I'm gonna assume I'm on the Truman Show. I'm gonna assume that everyone is just filming me and I'm the only main character. I haven't experienced this at all.
Samaritan. But instead, everyone just stands there watching. That's the bystander effect. A bizarre glitch where the more people there are, the less likely anyone is to do something.
That's
everyone
lame.
assumes someone else will take action.
That's
because everyone
lame.
assumes that, nobody does.
Okay, no. I think it just depends on what your character is like. Because, of course, if I see someone approaching someone, I'm gonna be like, okay, he got it handled. But I don't know. I'm just imagining someone get into a car crash and everyone like, man, I gotta go to work. It's not like that. And if it's like that, that just means the people around you are terrible.
And it gets weirder. There are cases where entire groups of people have just stood there watching something horrible happen, even when it would have been extremely easy to help.
Okay, yeah, then there are just terrible people. It's definitely not a glitch. They're just horrible human beings.
A person choking in a restaurant, a woman being attacked in broad daylight, even a drowning child. Nobody wants to be the first.
A drowning child? The only reason why I might not help that drowning child is because I can't swim myself. Other than that, there's no way you could just look at that and see it happen.
Take responsibility. It's like they're all stuck in an idle animation, waiting for a main character interaction. And what if, just for a second, we consider the possibility that this isn't just human psychology? What if some people really do function like NPCs? What if some only activate when they're directly prompted?
No, sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, let me know if you guys relate to this. I be looking at the mirror and I'm like, what if I'm the only real human being? What if I'm the only one that's actually the real person, the one that can actually function themselves, and everyone around me was like a robot? I don't know if it's just me though.
And if that's true, then the next time you're in a crowd, look around. Is everyone really playing the same game as you? Doppelgangers. The NPC cloning bug.
No one could clone me, alright? Look at me. There could only be one me. For me to have a doppelganger, there can't be 2 of the most sexiest people in the world. Making one with a voluptuous dick like mine, that's insane. It's gonna take a lot of energy to make 2 of me.
Imagine walking down the street and seeing yourself.
Matter of fact, I did see Michael B. Jordan on the screen, and I feel like we look very much alike. So, you know what? Maybe doppelgangers are real.
Not a look-alike. Not a twin. You. Same face, same outfit, same movements. At first, your brain scrambles for a logical explanation. A coincidence? A weird reflection? But then It looks at you, and you realize it knows. Throughout history, people have reported seeing their own double, and it's almost never a good thing. One of the most famous cases was Abraham Lincoln. A few days before his assassination, he reportedly saw his own reflection in a mirror, except there were two of him. One looked normal, the other was ghostly pale.
Okay, then that gave you the biggest hint that your ass was about to go away. A ghost? Wow. But then again, you also have to realize people back then, they didn't have no good medicine. What if his ass was just tweaking? He probably had some sort of like terminal condition that no one could even cure him off of or even diagnose him.
His wife, naturally, did the reasonable thing and decided this meant he was going to die. And then, well, we all know how that turned out. Now, maybe Lincoln was tired. Maybe his brain just filled in an extra image. Or maybe it's just a glitch in the system. Maybe reality accidentally rendered two copies of you for a moment. Maybe you just got a glimpse of yourself from another timeline. Or maybe something else is trying to take your place. Either way.
I don't know. Sometimes I'd be having nightmares when I sleep and I'd be thinking to myself, I hope this is not me in a different reality or something that happened to me in a past life. Because if I really jumped off a bridge, that's sad. Everyone has the strangest nightmares that they can't explain. Because a lot of the nightmares that I have, I don't even think about this. This is not even my reality. This is not even what I ever conceptualized. So how the hell do I even think about this? That's a little creepy to me.
And if you ever see someone who looks exactly like you,
I'm making out with you. I mean, what I meant to say was, you know what? Let's do things half and half. You know, you replace me when you want to go. One thing you're never going to do is actually take my spot.
walk the other way. Fast. Sleep paralysis.
Oh.
Forced cutscene.
Oh.
You can't skip. It happens.
Dude, I remember the first time that I had sleep paralysis, I genuinely thought I was gonna pass away. It was my two brothers, like, we were sharing bunk beds. One on top of me and one to the right of me. I was sleeping there like, are y'all serious? Can any of y'all help me? Are y'all serious? Nobody gonna help me? And then it just felt like a thick ass monster just laying on top of me saying, hell no, you can't move, bro. And my body was not moving, only my head. I was like, wow, like this is the end of me. I can't even talk. One of the most scariest things, if you don't know what it is. If I knew about what sleep paralysis was beforehand, I probably wouldn't have been scared about it. And I dealt with it as like a child.
It happens in the middle of the night. Your eyes snap open. You can
But
see
your body
room,
can't move.
Ceiling, the faint glow of the streetlight outside. Everything is normal, except you can't move. Not a single muscle. Your arms, your legs, completely locked. You try to call for help, but your voice won't come out.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
so scary.
You feel it. A presence. Standing at the edge of your bed. This is sleep paralysis. And if you haven't experienced it yet,
Good.
congratulations. You've avoided one of the worst free trial experiences
Literally.
the human body has to offer. People describe it as being trapped inside your own body.
Facts.
Science calls it a simple sleep cycle disruption. During REM sleep, the body is in a state of muscle atonia to prevent acting out dreams. And if you break this sleep, your brain wakes up, but your muscles are still paralyzed. It's supposed to last a few seconds, maybe a minute at most.
When I first done it, I swear it felt like a whole minute. The way it felt super long. I felt like every second was literally an hour.
But to the people experiencing it, it can feel like a lifetime.
Yes,
And here's where it gets weird. Because for some reason, sleep paralysis doesn't just come with paralysis. It comes with company. People across different cultures, across history, across...
I'm just thinking, has there ever been anyone that endured sleep paralysis but just couldn't ever move from it? That's a scary thought in itself too.
completely separate parts of the world, all describe seeing the exact same thing. A dark silhouette, watching them. If this is just a random brain glitch, why are millions of people hallucinating the exact same thing? There are two possible answers. 1. The human brain is hardwired to hallucinate terrifying figures when it's in this state. A cruel little evolutionary prank designed to make an already terrible experience even worse.
Yeah.
Or 2. These things are always there. And sleep paralysis is just the one time you are actually able to see them. Spontaneous human combustion.
Damn, so if I have like a dark shadow just looming over me all the time, I just want to know, is it a woman or a man? If it's a woman, I'm gonna need you to reappear. We got some things we gotta do. Look at your freaky ass only trying to come to me while I'm paralyzed. No, we need to reappear at times where I'm in need, okay?
The self-destruct glitch.
Huh?
Imagine you're sitting in your living room reading a book, sipping some tea. Nothing out of the ordinary. Then without warning, you burst into flames.
Okay, this must be the Magic Johnson syndrome. This must be STD speaking because I've never felt like this.
Not like you knocked over a candle flames. Not like your clothes caught fire.
Like
flames.
itching?
No, you ignite from the inside out. And by the time someone finds you, there's nothing left but a pile of ash.
Okay.
And maybe a pair of legs that somehow survived. This is spontaneous human combustion. One of the strangest, most unsettling phenomena ever recorded.
What?
Science has a lot of answers, but on this one, they're beat. Some half-assed explanations include the wick effect, where body fat acts like candle wax, slowly burning the person over time.
Wait, there's people out here that actually self-destruct? Yo, that gotta be the worst way to go out. Yo, so our bodies could just explode?
But if that's the case, why does it sometimes stop halfway? Take Margaret Hogan, for example, an unusually hot 89-year-old widow from Dublin.
Judging by the drawing, she does look hot. I don't know if we're talking literally or because of her combusting, but yeah, I'd like to combust in her.
The 28th, 1970, she was found burned almost to nothing in her home.
What?
The plastic flowers on the table had melted into sludge, and the television screen 12 feet away was warped beyond recognition. And yet, her feet and both legs below the knees were untouched. An inquest was
weird.
held. The official cause of death? Burning. The cause of the fire? Unknown.
Damn.
Which means
and everything else in the apartment looks cool.
Either 1, the human body has a hidden self-destruct button. 2, some people accidentally trigger an irreversible system error. 3, reality occasionally just alta 4 people in the most dramatic way possible. Whichever one it is, the conclusion is the same. If one day you start feeling a little too warm, and you're nowhere near an open flame, you might have about 3 seconds to figure out why.
Now they got me like scared for no reason. If I ever feel a little hot and everyone says that you don't feel hot, then I'm gonna be scared now. Please tell me that this is not a glitch every human experiences.
Quantum immortality.
What?
The real-life respawn glitch. You should be dead. That car missed you by inches. Lucky? Maybe. Or maybe you just don't die. Quantum immortality is the idea that every time you die, your consciousness jumps. Not to heaven, not to hell, but to the nearest reality where you survived. From your perspective, you never die. You just keep waking up in timelines where you barely made it. Take Frane Selak, a man who should have died multiple times. In 1954, his train derailed into an icy river. 17 people drowned. He didn't. The next year, he was sucked out of a plane mid-flight and landed in a haystack.
Wow.
Then
okay, we ever thought that maybe Frane is behind all this? Maybe it's not a glitch. Maybe he's actually a murderer.
Bus crash, multiple car crashes, a car explosion.
Explosion?
And finally, he won the lottery. From his perspective, he never died. And that's the terrifying part. If quantum immortality is real, then you will never experience your own death. The versions of you that died, you don't remember them because they're gone. But what happens when there's no timeline left where you survive?
That's actually an insane thought. What if everyone is actually living their full life, but to their knowledge? So like, what if in other pastimes we've passed away to other people, but to us, we're still alive? That's scary. That's very scary.
Is there a final game over? Or does reality just keep you going? And if that's the case, how long have you actually been alive? Thanks for watching.
YouTube, let me know if you guys ever experienced any of these glitches. If there's any other glitches that you experienced that hasn't been noted in this video. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, bro, to 800K, all that good stuff, man. Waxer for life. Love y'all, and peace.